And it cost the lives of 95 people who went to Ankara for a peace rally. They wanted to end the conflict that has been ongoing since that started since the Suruç massacre. As you may have heard, in Suruç 32 young people also massacred, and but the perpetrators of that event, that tragedy, has not been solved as well. Like, we don't know, they were not brought to the justice, and we don't know who did that. Since yesterday, we're not just saddened by these bombings, but we're also saddened by the response of the AKP government. The Prime Minister itself, the Turkish Prime Minister, first thing that they did was to blame the Kurdish party, the pro-Kurdish party, and also it's also a coalition party with the other leftists and Democrats in Turkey. It's called People's Democrats Party. They actually accused HDP for that. We're really saddened by the responses of the government, and I just wanted to thank you again for coming here, staying with the solidarity with all people that lost their lives. As I said, those people went to Ankara just to demand an end to the conflict that has been ongoing since Suruç massacre, and so many civilians died in eastern Turkey, and even today, like, we focus on the Ankara massacre now, but governments still are attacking the civilians in eastern Turkey, in the Kurdish regions, and so many people, they're arresting so many people. This is not just Kurds, but leftists, Democrat people, Alawites, feminists, all those, like, people who are against, actually, who are not thinking a bit like Erdoğan's government. So those people are all under pressure. Well, they haven't brought the previous perpetrators to justice, and we know that they're not going to bring the people who did this, the horrific thing. What I want to say is they should just stop blaming HDP or the people who are against the government, and they should listen them. In Turkey, they don't listen anyone anymore. So that's number one problem. No, I think that's it. Thank you so much again.
Can you tell us your name, please?
My name is Ruken Isaac.
And what organization are you with?
I'm with the HDP. HDP, yeah, Washington office.
What do you want to say to the Obama administration about this?
Well, first, for instance, Obama called yesterday Turkey and then just expressed his solidarity with the people. But this is like Erdoğan itself. They are triggering these things. You know, they are making things worse by his speeches. He's not having a peaceful. He should have a peaceful speech. He should have a peaceful voice. He doesn't have a peaceful voice. Whatever he says is just against the peace. He's trying to because he's scared of the peoples of Turkey, not just Kurds. As I said, Kurds, leftists, feminists, all people who are not thinking as the Erdoğan. So all of them he sees as the enemies of the government or enemies, but they are not.
And what do you want to say to Erdoğan?
Well, he should listen, people. He's not listening to them, and he thinks that he got the 50% support from the people, but how about the rest? So now in Turkey we have 50%, like AKP, who are the supporters of AKP, and the rest. So he should listen to the rest.
Can you spell your name, please?
Rukenisik, Ruken Isaac.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So a moment ago you just made a statement about what the Erdoğan government was doing, and it wasn't enough. You don't feel they're doing enough for the investigation into the Ankara bombing. What do you want to say about that investigation?
Well, they're not just doing enough because there are previous, bombings, like the Suruç one that I just mentioned, and they didn't solve that problem. So they didn't bring the people who did that. They didn't find them, and. By the way, like, there are some, they said like last week there was some intelligence about 2 suicide bombers in Turkey, but they didn't warn these people. They didn't do anything. They could have prevented this horrific incident, but they didn't even prevent that. And also what happened yesterday was so horrific because just after the bombings, Turkish police attacked the wounded people. Even they threw tear gas and water cannon the people who are trying to help the wounded people over there. So like people are saying that the witnesses over there, they say like people were like just lying on the floor, like they were wounded, but they couldn't help them because they were. You can see from the videos. You have to say them. They were trying to stop the police, saying that please do not attack. We have wounded people. So there is. I feel like the police. Not I feel like actually the police soldiers has become AKP's police and soldiers. They are not protecting the people of Turkey. They're just protecting the people like AKP. By the way, AKP has a lot of like meetings, but none of them like got any problem, like any bombings, anything. But since before the elections, HDP meetings have been bombed, and then Suruç happened. So we're just in a shock, seriously. Not just shock from the bombings, but from the responses of the government.
Do you think that the government, this is a trend? Do you think that they are doing this deliberately against the HDP? And if they are, why?
Well, actually, so we know that in June 7th elections, the HDP got, like, they passed the threshold and they got 13%, which actually it was horrible for Erdoğan because that didn't give him the majority to have his one rule system in Turkey.
Right.
So I think that's the main problem, and we have like the November 1st election. It's coming in 2 weeks. They're just like everything is an investment to the elections. That's why they are using this enemy language. Like they're just putting everyone except for their party, the people, as like the enemies of the state, which is not correct. People want to live peacefully in Turkey, and actually they succeeded. From the like elections, they succeeded. Kurds, leftists, feminists, all these women, like all people who are thinking different than the AKP, actually got 13% of vote. But because Erdoğan was not satisfied, we're gonna have another election in 2 weeks.
Well, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. And I just.
Danke.